Growing up, I had dreams and aspirations, but always felt like the kid that didn't fit in. For the most part, I wasn't a bad kid, but when I made the transition into adulthood, I turned to the streets for guidance. This led to getting locked up in juvenile hall, doing time in CYA, and eventually a 120-month sentence in federal prison. I had a lot of time to think and reflect during my federal sentence, so I share with you what I learned, hoping I can positively influence someone else's life with Prison Talk.
Had a question for one of our viewers. What's going on, Big H? How difficult or non-difficult is it for a person to receive the proper doctor prescribed prescriptions? Is it the prison's responsibility to make sure you get them, especially for a person like me who takes a couple of meds a day? If I went one day without it, I can become extremely ill. Or is there no one gives a fuck amongst the staff and COs? Much respect, Drew Donaldson. As far as medical treatment, if you're somebody who's like, really ill, or somebody who's like under a lot of medical scrutiny as far as medications and stuff like that, or you have some type of illness, they're gonna most likely send you to a medically based facility. As far as going into a regular facility and just getting your meds, they don't have no problem giving you medication. I mean, you might have to go down there a couple of times and, file some, and be persistent, but I've seen guys as far as, get pretty much the medication they need for whatever the situation is. There have been instances where there was a guy at one of the institutions I was at who kept complaining about he was having stomach problems, and they kept giving him like Tylenol, ibuprofen, and the guy, I think his appendix had ruptured and he died. He actually died at the institution. So, he wasn't able to get the medical attention he needed. But a lot of times you're dealing with staff and COs who don't really give a fuck. The medical people who work in the prisons are people who, wouldn't be working in a regular hospital on the street because of maybe write-ups they've had on their profile, or maybe because of just being fired from another place. So, prison is like their last result. That's like the end game for them. So you got a lot of staff in there who their diagnosis is very vague. They don't really have any intimate intentions on far as you getting well, because they look at you as being a criminal. You're in there for being punished, so you're looking at getting the minimal, and a lot of times they're not trying to sympathize with you. It's not, they're already intimidated, they're scared, and they're just there to get a paycheck, get you the hell up out of there, and that's about it. But as far as, other situations or instances where, you get hurt or something like that, they don't want you to die, so they try to, get you to the proper place where you can get treated. I know when I was in prison, at the last spot I was at, I hurt my tricep. I was working out and I got a minuscule tear, and my tricep was just all fucked up. Within an hour of that injury, I was actually at the hospital getting an MRI, and that's very rare. A lot of times they'll just tell you to go ice it and go lay down and give you maybe a ace bandage or something. But one of the things that separated me from everybody else in the institution and the people I dealt with was I did a lot of legal paperwork, so I knew how to put that pen to the paper, and that gets people moving, because nobody wants to be written up. They don't want to be sued, and a person who's a legal beagle in prison, staff has a different level of respect for that individual. So I think that was one of the main factors which enabled me to get the medical treatment that I needed ASAP. Because I wouldn't, as soon as I report the injury, within 10 minutes they have staff coming over, walk me straight to receiving, and cuffed me up and basically said, hey man, don't do anything stupid. And they had me on a bus heading to the town, which was like probably the hospital was probably like 40 minutes away, so yeah, man, it goes down if you're a person who they think that can cause them problems. But to like a lot of inmates who are just like dope fiend type dudes, or people that they don't really feel that, that are full of shit, they might drag it out. They might not, an injury might go overlooked for a period of time. But that's my personal experience, and like I said, I did, know of a guy at a particular institution I was at that did die because of stomach problems. And, a lot of guys, a lot of times, staff, they're not really educated to deal with, medical situations. And if it's after hours, you're pretty much fucked. Everybody, staff leaves after the last pill call, as far as the medical staff, and you just got regular COs on the grounds, they're most likely not going to do anything till the morning. So yeah, it's fucked up, but you can get medical treatment if you're somebody who really needs it. If you let it be known ahead of time, and you just got to be persistent, man. Putting that pen to the paper makes a difference.